We got to talk about The Little Mermaid. As a mother of three children.
I have been waiting patiently
100%.
now.
Not only have you done an in-depth study on this, but 3 episodes on The Little Mermaid. Now, why is this? Why is this so important to Malcolm Gladwell?
Well, so many reasons, Megyn. I can't. But wait, do people call you MK? Should I be calling you MK?
You're allowed to call me MK. My staff calls me MK. People who know me well call me MK. Yes, you're in. Please call me MK.
Kind of like
yeah,
MK.
Go for it. I like it too.
Right. So first of all, I'm going to say something that is going to blow your mind and also the minds of all of your listeners. I had never watched a Disney animated movie until March of 2021. Never. The whole thing passed me by. No idea. I, first of all, didn't have a TV growing up. So no example of ever and then, I don't know, didn't have kids. So didn't have an example.
That is what lures you in. That makes it more understandable.
Yeah. So then I read this essay written by this totally brilliant woman who's a law professor at Northwestern, in which she talks about her name is Laura Beth Nielsen. And by the way, if you ever want to have a fantastic guest on your show, just call up Laura Beth Nielsen. She's the most hilarious, brilliant. And in the first episode,
we will.
we're of my Little Mermaid trilogy. It's really the Laura Beth Nielsen show. And she talks about how she had 2 young boys and she watched Little Mermaid, and she's a lawyer, a law professor. She's like, wait a minute. What's going on here? The notions of the law that are being represented in this story are all crazy. And this is kind of a hilarious example, which I went back, I talked to her, then I went back and I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, she's so right. This is nuts. There's so many problems with it. But I'll start with Laura Beth Nielsen's critique. She points out, among other things, she's got a whole series of critiques, but the notion of the whole Disney's Little Mermaid, the crucial plot point is that Ariel signs a contract with Ursula in which she gives up her voice in return for a shot at being a human, right? Because she wants to fall in love with
Prince Eric.
Prince Eric. And the contract cannot be broken, right? If she fails to get Prince Eric to fall in love with her, then she has to permanently give up her voice and become basically a slave in Ursula's garden. And once she's signed, then there's no way for this contract to be revoked. Even King Triton, with all of his powers, cannot revoke this contract. And the only way the contract can be invalidated is that Ursula has to be murdered by Prince Eric at the end of the movie. And as Laura Beth Nielsen pointed out, that's not how contracts work. The whole point of contracts is that if they don't enshrine justice, if they are immoral, the law has an elaborate mechanism for revisiting the contract. This is a contract signed with a minor involving the sale of a body part. It absolutely can be invalidated. In fact, there's nothing the law does better than re-examine. That's why we have people who study contract law. That's why we have law firms. We know this. And she's sitting, so you imagine, there's Laura Beth Nielsen, this brilliant legal mind, sitting with her 2 6-year-old boys, whatever, I don't know how old they were. She's watching Little Mermaid and she's just losing her mind. She's like, are you kidding me? Why are you teaching my 6-year-old a fact about the law, fundamentally false? And also, on a more serious level, what she's saying is, what you're teaching my child is that the law does not embody justice. Rather, the law is a separate arbitrary instrument that evil people use to further their evil ends. She's like, no, it's not. The whole point of the law in a democracy like the United States is it embodies justice. It's the mechanism, the beautiful mechanism we have created to ensure just outcomes in the world, right?
Look how excited you are.
And the fact, I am so excited about this. And the fact that it works, and it works, by the way, for all the fact that, this as a lawyer, we grumble about legal mechanisms all the time, but they work really well in this country,
They do.
Really well.
Not perfectly. No, I read. So you said the Little Mermaid is a vigilante picture. It's an animated Dirty Harry.
It's worse than that. Think about it. So we have this problem created by the fact that Ariel signs a contract which cannot be broken, which false.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they can break it is that she engages her boyfriend, Prince Eric, in an act of extra legal execution. He murders Ursula at the end of the movie in order to get her out of the contract. What kind of message is that sending? That's nuts. This is a movie for children in which we sanction an extra legal execution as a way of resolving a legal problem.